Welcome to this video tutorial. Upon opening your project file, this is what you should be seeing. Inside this project, you will find this project window over here, and inside this project window you will have three folders. The first one is edit, and if you step inside this logo holder composition inside this edit folder, this will now bring you up the logo holder composition. In order to import your logo file, you can double click inside this empty space over here and then navigate to your logo destination and double click to import your file like so. And while inside this logo holder composition, you can now delete this logo that was previously here and drop your new logo inside the composition like so. Then with this logo layer selected, I will press S for scale and I will rescale this logo and maybe move it over to the side while holding shift. And then if you go inside your render folder and double click this render composition, here you can see how your logo will look, and feel free to preview a few frames and make sure that the scale is working fine. Of course, you can go back inside your logo holder composition, for example, and you can rescale the logo if necessary, and this will translate over to your final render as well. Just make sure your logo holder, or rather your logo layer, has transparency. You can see that this is a PNG file, and if I turn on transparency grid, you can see that this background for the logo is transparent. So that's very important to keep in mind. Of course, that you can add a text to this composition as well. So whatever you place inside this composition will mirror over in the final render. So you can place your text, and you can use whatever font you want, and of course format your text. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this text, just to show you the example. You can see that everything works, and I'll just delete this for now. Let's go back inside the render, and inside this render composition you will find a settings layer, and up here at the top there will be a effects control window, and press F3 on your keyboard if you don't have this window opened. So that's F3. And let's take a look at some of these color settings here, and let's start from the beginning. And I'll select a frame here, and let's maybe select, alright, let's actually just stay at this frame because there's a flare color over here, so we can change the color of the flare, and you can change to whatever color you want and hit OK. Then we will have the stones. Alright, so change the color for the stones. Alright, and let's choose another frame here and maybe move forward a bit, and let's take a look at the background, so we can change the color for the background. And notice that you can use the saturated values for different results. So this depending on what kind of color you're using for what kind of element inside this window over here, it's very important that you experiment with desaturating or darkening some of the tones. So for example, if I just leave this as fully saturated green, it might be a little bit too much, so I can just desaturate this and darken it if necessary. So that's just something to keep in mind. Alright, let's move forward. And let's take a look at dimension 1. So this dimension or portal thing is split into two elements basically, and there will be a dimension 1, which is this growing particles in the center here. Alright, with the flare is the flare from the beginning also, so this is something to keep in mind. And let's set this back to green. The dimension 2 will be this outer ring, so you can change the color for that. Then we can change the color for the runes as well. And finally, when the logo is revealed, you can also change the logo for this nice texture that the logo has prior to revealing. And let's choose the right frame here. Alright, so hopefully you can see now this, maybe this green is a little bit too saturated, so I can desaturate this to get a nicer value or tone. Alright, so these are pretty much the colors and how you change everything. After you've made all of the necessary adjustments, you can go to composition, you can go to pre-render, and inside Costume AV you can select your format options. H264 is usually really good, so inside format options you can increase the bitrate, and hit OK. Don't forget to select audio output as well if you want to export the sound effects. Hit OK, and that's pretty much it. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me using the contact form on my profile, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for watching.